faith and football and fried foods. Their way of life is under siege by some latte-drinking, college-educated snobs. I have to be honest, they are not entirely wrong. There is a lot of college-educated liberal hoity-toity types. They really do look down on the South and the Midwest. You don't believe me? Who coined the term flyover country? How dismissive and demeaning is that? As if...
I hope you're ready. I'm about to perform a public disservice.
All right, there's no way you haven't noticed this as well, right? There's a weird thing happening in this country, and I started off calling it the redneckification of America, making us more rednecky, but I don't think that's really it. I think it's more of the Kardashian effect, something like that. We're glorifying stupid, and the internet has made everyone an expert in everything, so much so that we completely disregard, actual expertise, like experts who spent a lifetime studying their particular subject, right? I get it. We turned being famous just for being famous into a billion-dollar business model, and now the U.S. government runs like a goddamn reality show. Louder, dumber, trashier every season. Fine, if you want to celebrate ignorance like it's a virtue, I guess go ahead, but it gets dangerous here when stupidity isn't just tolerated, it's weaponized. When you're not just stupid and ignorant, you're proudly ignorant and stupid. When suddenly having an education and an actual skill set makes you elitist. When expertise, the product of a lifetime of study and hard work, it means less than whatever half-baked nonsense some guy read on Facebook last Tuesday. And that's where we are now. We're in a country where people would rather trust a meme rather than an actual microbiologist. And there's a flip side, disregarding years of blue-collar, on-the-job training, skill, and practical experience if it isn't accompanied by some Ivy League certificate. So as we said, glorifying stupid, it's not new in this country, but it has become a national pastime. We've built an entire political movement on this idea that college is for pussies and science is a scam. Like America looked around at its human resources, brains, talent, ingenuity, and said, I'm just going to listen to Dale down at the bar who told me that vaccines come from Bill Gates' dick. Can't we see the danger in having the most important shit in the government run by the most unqualified, inept, incompetent reality show stars and podcasters? Don't get me wrong, I don't want to come down on redneck culture because I fucking love redneck culture, okay?
Duck Dynasty!
NASCAR, football, fishing, and monster trucks and air shows, brother, sign me up. I love all that shit. When I was in the Army, I was stationed in South Carolina. I'll tell you what, them good old boys, they're the most fun to get drunk with. Salt of the earth, hilarious, no pretentious bullshit. You will laugh your ass off at a barbecue with those fellas. But I wouldn't trust even one of them to calculate orbital trajectories for a communication satellite. My old buddy Boland, he used to measure horsepower by how many beers it took him to rebuild the engine. Boland could fix anything with just shit lying around the house. Brilliant in his own way. But not the guy you want calculating a cancer patient's chemo dosage. Yeah. Well, now the government's getting in on it, redneck style. You saw the new FDA board, right? Giving Tylenol a hard time? Yes, Tylenol. The guys who couldn't even pronounce acetaminophen.
That the use of let's see how we say that.
Couldn't pronounce it, much less explain its mechanism of action, efficacy, potential side effects.
Commonly known as Tylenol.
But did you watch any of the press conference? One of the yahoos actually got to the podium and said, "I don't trust it because I can't spell it." Like, buddy, if spelling is what decides drug safety, half the population would be dead right now from penicillin poisoning. All right, we're making dick jokes, but really it's pretty terrifying because we're supposed to have the smartest minds in medicine regulating our drugs. Chemists and toxicologists and people who have spent their lives understanding liver enzymes, not a panel of guys who think mechanism of action is what happens when you rack your shotgun. Here's the problem. It's the problem America always does. We politicize everything. We've turned this into a culture war. Rednecks versus geeks, right? The MAGA base is clinging to this idea that their way of life, faith and football and fried foods, their way of life is under siege by some latte-drinking, college-educated snobs. I have to be honest, they are not entirely wrong. There is a lot of college-educated liberal hoity-toity types. They really do look down on the South and the Midwest. You don't believe me? Who coined the term flyover country? How dismissive and demeaning is that? As if nobody in Kentucky matters unless they're eating kale and sporting a man bun? But here's the thing. The real problem is that this country needs all of it. We need them both. You need rednecks and geeks. You need farmers and physicists, welders and chemists. Because without both, you are screwed, buddy. Who do you want bleeding the brake lines on that 18-wheeler rolling behind you? Some pencil-neck philosophy geek? No. Of course, who do you want designing your pacemaker? A guy who shotgunned a Coors Light so fast he made the local news? Also, no. So maybe the solution isn't to demonize one another. Maybe it's time to admit that the real America, it isn't rural or urban or redneck or nerd. It is this messy accumulation, this messy combination of all of it. So stop mocking education and stop mocking small towns. Quit pretending that dumb is noble and smart is evil. Because at the end of the day, you need them farm boys to feed you, and you need the nerds to keep the rockets from exploding. Without one or the other, congratulations, America, you just redneckified yourself into extinction. Click subscribe, like, share, blah, 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 all that shit.
I don't know which camp I fall in. Am I the redneck or the I feel like I'm more redneck than scientist.
No, you're a geek.
I'm a geek.
You're a geek, but without the good grades.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Now expertise is mocked. A lifetime study is less than whatever wild-eyed nonsense someone read online, I guess. Oh, the government's a goddamn reality show. Dumber every season watching the wisdom go. They built a whole movement on a bumper sticker.